Ain't life wonderful?
Wonderful.
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 Isn't it wonderful?
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
I feel so wonderful.
Isn't everything?
Hey there PJ, and in response to your Draw My Life video, I welcome you to my Draw My Life. Well, more Paint My Life. Yeah, that looks a bit better. I come from a small country at the bottom of the world that is covered in a whole lot of water. It has green grass and trees and sheep and hobbits and cool stuff like that. Yeah, I live in New Zealand. I was born on the 19th of August, 1997, to my mother Leslie and my father John. But when I was about 16 hours old, I had to get rushed to a hospital about an hour away. I had had a seizure, and that was all they could do to keep me alive. But maybe that's why I have superpowers now. My first memory of art and drawing was when I was about 4 years old with my older brother. We were scratching pictures out of crayon that had been drawn over paint. I don't think I remember it because of what we were doing, but more that I was hanging out with my older brother and that I was having such a good time. When I was about 5, my parents split up. I don't remember much of this, just that there was a lot of yelling. My parents told me that it wasn't my fault at all, while my mum went and lived in town, and my dad stayed and lived in the country. And being the youngest child, I had to alternate between the two. My next memory of drawing was a few years later in primary school. I had to draw a horse for a competition, and quite honestly, I thought it was better than Tesco's lasagna. But clearly not. At the end of primary school, I met the girl that is now one of my best friends. At the time, I thought she was pretty weird, and I still do, but in a good way. The next year, I started at middle school, and I absolutely hated it. I mean, we had to wear a uniform, and the teachers didn't even like us at all. Although, I did make a whole lot of new friends, who are all a major part of my life now. But still, it was a major downgrade from primary school. Yep, that's middle school. At the end of my first year of middle school, I tried out for a very prestigious class, and I cried for hours and hours and hours when I didn't get in. But now, I can look back in retrospect and say that it was all for the better, and that I am a much better person for it now. One of the few things that made middle school bearable was the art teacher, Mrs. Reed. She used to wear bright red lipstick. And instead of threatening you with a detention, she would threaten you that she would kiss you on the cheek with her lipstick. 2 years ago, I started at high school, and I like it a whole lot better than middle school. I mean, even the uniform is better, and the teachers like us a lot more. I was put in a form class with my 3 best friends, and so we had a really great time that year, with lots of laughs and lots of good times. In my first year of high school, I was put into an art class for the first term, and I discovered that I really, really liked it, and that I can even be good at it if I try. Also in my first year of high school, I found out about rowing, so I decided to join, which I am very glad I have done, as I love this so much. And I can also be good at that if I try. At the start of last year, I joined Youth Search and Rescue, which is pretty much an organisation in which a whole group of teenagers train to be in search and rescue. This is a great bunch of people, and they are such a big part of my life. They're amazing people, and I don't think I could live without them now. In May last year, my sister-in-law had a baby, and I had a niece. Her name is Phoebe, and she absolutely lights up my world. I love her so much, and there isn't a day that goes past where I don't think about her. About halfway through last year, my older brother left to go live in London and travel the world. He had been my rock for my whole childhood, so it hurt a little bit to see him go, but I'm glad he's having a good time. But that brings us to now. I am absolutely loving life. I have a great group of friends who are so supportive and kind and funny that I couldn't want for anyone better. Also, I am taking design, history, French, English, math and science, all of which I am enjoying a lot. I too, surprise surprise, have a notebook. With this and my 6B, for a few hours I can be entertained, because the world is my oyster.